Farah knew something was wrong the moment the car stopped outside the house that afternoon. It wasn't the sound, it was the silence that followed, usually. Saad would honk lightly or call her name before stepping out, like he always did. But that day, there was nothing. No sound, no greeting, no warmth. Just the car engine dying and the door closing with a dull thud. She stood near the kitchen doorway, wiping her hands on a towel, waiting for him to walk in. When he finally did, he didn't look at her, not even once. His eyes moved quickly across the room, as if searching for something that wasn't there. And then he went straight to the bedroom. "Saad," she called after him. "I have to leave," he replied from inside, his voice flat and rushed. Farah frowned and followed him. "Leave?" "Where? Work," he said, pulling out a bag and stuffing clothes into it without care. "Something urgent came up." "Now?" she asked, confused. "You just got home." He nodded, still avoiding her gaze. "I don't have time to explain." That was the first crack. Saad always explained. Even the smallest things. He wasn't a man of silence. He liked control, liked making sure everything made sense. But today, nothing made sense. Farah stepped closer. "At least tell me how long you'll be gone." "A day," he said quickly. "Maybe 2. "And you're telling me this now?" Her voice wasn't angry, yet just unsettled. He zipped the bag shut and finally looked at her. But the look didn't reach his eyes. It was sudden. Something about that look stayed with her. It wasn't guilt. Not exactly. It was distance. Like he had already left long before he walked out the door. Before she could say anything else, he grabbed his keys and moved past her. "I'll call you," he said. Then he was gone. The house felt different after that. Not empty, just unfamiliar. Like the walls had shifted slightly, like something invisible had moved out of place. Farah tried to shake the feeling. She told herself she was overthinking. Work trips happened. Urgent calls happened. Not everything needed to feel suspicious. Still, she checked her phone more than usual that evening. No messages, no calls. Hours passed slowly. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the quiet in the house deepened. She turned on the TV just to fill the space. But the noise didn't help. It only made the silence feel heavier. By night, she had convinced herself to stop worrying. And then the doorbell rang. She froze for a second, her heart jumping unexpectedly. Saad never rang the bell. He had keys. She walked to the door and opened it carefully. Ian stood there. He looked tired, not physically, but something else, like he hadn't slept properly in days. His shoulders were tense, and his grip on the small bag in his hand was too tight. "Ian," Farah said, surprised. "What are you doing here?" He forced a small smile. "Uncle told me to come." Her confusion deepened. "Saad," he nodded. "He said I should stay here tonight." "Tonight," she repeated. "Just for one night," he added quickly, as if trying to make it sound less strange. Farah stepped aside and let him in. But her mind was already racing. Saad hadn't mentioned anything about this. Not a word. She closed the door slowly, watching Ian walk inside. He placed his bag near the couch and stood there awkwardly, unsure of what to do next. "Did he tell you why?" she asked. Ian shook his head. "No. He just said it would be better if I stayed here. Double quotes better. The word didn't sit right with her. Still, she didn't push further. Ian was family. Whatever the reason, turning him away wasn't an option. "All right," she said gently. "You can take the guest room." "Thank you," he replied, his voice quiet. The evening moved forward, but nothing felt normal. Sarah cooked dinner like she always did, but her movements were slower, distracted. She kept glancing at her phone, hoping for a message from Saad that would explain everything. There was nothing. At the table, Ian barely touched his food. "Is everything okay?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Yes," he said quickly, then lowered his gaze. She studied him for a moment. "You don't look okay." "I'm just tired," he replied. It was an easy answer, too easy. Farah didn't believe him, but she let it go for now. After dinner, they sat in the living room. For a while, the TV played in the background, but neither of them paid attention. The silence between them wasn't comfortable, it was heavy, filled with things neither of them were saying. Farah tried again. When did Saad call you? Earlier today, Ayan said. What did he say exactly? Ayan hesitated. That hesitation said more than any answer could. Farah leaned forward slightly. Ayan, he just said I should come here, he repeated. That's all. She held his gaze, searching for something, anything, but he looked away. That was the second crack. It wasn't just Saad acting strange anymore. It was both of them. The night grew deeper. Eventually, Farah stood up. You should get some rest. Ayan nodded. You too. They went to their separate rooms, but sleep didn't come easily. Farah lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the day in her mind. Every word Saad had said, every look he had avoided, every moment that felt off. Something wasn't right. She could feel it. Hours passed. The house was silent again, but this time, the silence felt different, tense, like it was waiting for something to happen. And then she heard it. Footsteps. Soft, uneven pacing. Farah sat up immediately. The sound was coming from the living room. For a moment, she considered ignoring it. Maybe Ayan couldn't sleep. Maybe it was nothing. But her instincts told her otherwise. She got out of bed and walked quietly toward the door. When she opened it, the hallway light spilled into the darkness, and the sound became clearer. Back and forth, back and forth. She stepped into the living room. Ayan was there, walking in small circles, his hands running through his hair. His phone was in his hand, the screen lighting up his face. He looked shaken. Ayan, Farah said softly. He stopped immediately, like he had been caught doing something wrong. Kala, he said, his voice tight. What's going on? She asked. Nothing, he replied too quickly. Farah crossed her arms. You've been pacing for how long now? He didn't answer. She stepped closer. Talk to me. Ayan looked down at his phone, then back at her. His eyes were filled with conflict, fear, guilt, hesitation. He started, then stopped. Farah felt her patience thinning. Ayan, you're scaring me. That did it. He took a deep breath, as if preparing himself for something difficult. I think you should know something, he said. Her heart skipped. Know what? He hesitated again, his grip tightening on the phone. Uncle Saad. He didn't go on a work trip. The words landed heavily. Farah blinked, trying to process them. What do you mean? Ayan swallowed. He lied. The room felt smaller suddenly. Why would he lie? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ayan didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at his phone again. Then, slowly, he held it out to her. Farah stared at the screen. At first, she didn't understand what she was looking at. Then it became clear. To clear. It was Saad. Smiling. Standing next to a woman Farah had never seen before. Not just standing close, comfortable, like they belonged together. The world around her went quiet. No sound, no movement. Just that image. Her fingers trembled slightly as she took the phone. How? She whispered. I saw them, Ayan said quietly, by accident. Farah's eyes remained fixed on the screen. When? She asked. Today, everything clicked into place. The sudden trip, the rushed goodbye. The lies. It all made sense now. Farah felt something rise inside her, but it wasn't what she expected. No tears. No anger. Just stillness, a deep, unsettling calm. He told me not to say anything, Ayan continued, his voice breaking slightly. He said it wasn't my place. Farah finally looked up. And yet you told me, she said. Ayan nodded, because it didn't feel right to stay silent. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The truth hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. Farah handed the phone back slowly. Thank you, she said. And looked surprised. You're not angry, she shook her head. Not at him. Not yet, because her anger wasn't ready. It was still forming, still growing, and when it came, she knew it wouldn't be loud. It would be quiet, controlled. Precise. Farah turned away and walked toward her room. Ayan, she said without looking back. Yes, get some rest. Her voice was calm, steady, too steady. He didn't argue. As she closed the door behind her, Farah leaned against it, her breath finally unsteady. The image replayed in her mind again and again. Sod, smiling, lying, living a life she knew nothing about. A single tear slipped down her cheek, but she wiped it away quickly. This wasn't the moment to break. This was the moment to understand. Because betrayal wasn't just about what he did. It was about how carefully he hid it. And as Farah stood there in the quiet darkness, one thought became clearer. She wouldn't confront him, not yet, because some truths weren't meant to be shouted. They were meant to be revealed at the right time. And that night, something inside her changed forever. Not loudly, not visibly, but completely.